For staying with us. So, our hot topic of today is an interesting story that we saw on social media. The General Overseer of the Omega Power Ministries, Apostle Chibuzor Chinyere, placed the curse on two security guards for being ungrateful. According to the story, he had sent the guards to Cyprus on scholarship. A few days ago, these former security guards staff, actually popularly known as Happie Boys, took to social media to reveal that they were forced to drop out of school after 6 months due to lack of scholarship. According to the duo, the man of God abandoned them due to money restraint and money restrictions, and getting a job has been quite difficult for both of them. Happie Boys further shared their chats with Apostle Chibuzor Chinyere, where they requested more money from him several times, and he said he was broke, and other occasions ignored the messages. Now, reacting to this, Apostle Chibuzor, in an audio making the rounds online, expressed total and complete displeasure over the attitude of these security guards. According to him, money used in sponsoring the boys came from members' tithes and offerings, but the boys have repaid him back with evil. Now, this has quite a number of talking points because there have been always conversations of how pastors don't use the money collected from tithes and offerings to actually give back to members in society. And in this case, this pastor has done so. There are other issues of when you do support somebody on a scholarship, how far do you go with helping this person? Do you just pay for the school fees and move on, or do you continue to help them with their upkeep? There's so many angles of this conversation. What are your thoughts on also the fact that he placed a curse on these young men because of how they went on social media against him, and why young people are always so quick to revert into social media when they have a grouse with somebody? There's so many angles to this. You can call us on 081270536887, 09139076948. You can also tweet to us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweet. As I said, there's so many angles to this. It's one thing for a pastor in good conscience to say, you know what, you young guys, let me support you. Let me use some of this money to support you. And then in his own good mind, he does that. However, the help got to a point where the kids are saying, we need more money. Now, how maybe he was unable to give them the money, or maybe he chose not to give them the money. We don't know. But either way, these boys thought social media, after several attempts to speak to him, was the best way to get his attention. Of course, they did get his attention, but it came with a curse.
What? I like the way you
yeah, but so how do you, what are your thoughts on this, and how do you respond to this?
Two wrongs. Okay. Two wrongs. Two wrongs. Started with good intention, but two wrongs. The pastor that offered, those boys were dancing. They went viral for being so happy, even though they were working as security guards. So he offered them scholarship to study in Cyprus.
No, context. Let's just add to that context. I don't know if you remember the story of security boys that were dancing and they were fired for dancing. So he thought that instead of firing them, you should empower them. So I think that's where that story started.
So they got a scholarship. It was all over social media. And I think it's, for a few months ago, when the dollar, the money, I think it was like from last year, I think, because he said the message, what they put on WhatsApp was, the man said, there isn't, the dollar issue is affecting him, and that there isn't money for him to send to them. When you read the response, the man kept telling them he doesn't have money right now, that he's, in the messages, he's sorry he doesn't have money right now. He will see what he can do, he will see what he can do. And maybe they got frustrated. They said some of the people that were in the scholarship dropped out of school, some came back to Nigeria, but they now chose to go on social media to do an Instagram live to explain that they don't have money to eat, they are going to be losing their house. And it was based on that, I think, public embarrassment that the man now placed a curse, which is why I said two wrongs. I feel it was wrong for the Happie Boys to have gone on social media to broadcast the fact that, oh, we are now stranded, the pastor has abandoned us, we've reached out to him, he did not help us. And it was wrong for the pastor in reaction to cause you're a man of God. At no but is a human being. And I always feel like we expect men of God to live like they are communing with the angels. But when you listen to his voice notes, he was pained. He felt betrayed. Like, I genuinely came to help you, and I explained to you I did not have money.
That's why the context Miriam talked about was really important, because he felt that you guys were fired for doing your job. I've come to help you, and I've helped you to this point.
For dancing on the job. So as security guards, they were supposed to stand, at attention. But I think it was one of these holidays, and they were dancing. And that was against the ethics of their workplace. Yeah. But he felt that the punishment was wrong for what they were doing, and he thought it's best to empower them.
Yeah, so, they always say, let your good not be evil spoken of. And no matter how moved we are in doing our good, we must do it within what we have capacity to. And there are some things that you cannot foresee, You could have started out well, and then things happen, life happens. Like the dollar issue happened, and you are not able to get the money. That is when it's now required that both parties will have a form of understanding, would have a form of conversation, will have a form of communication to say, I've tried, this is what I'm doing, that's what I'm doing, give me a little more time. And then the other person is saying, if you don't do this, we're likely going to be kicked out of school. What next can we do? That's where understanding comes into place. And, being a man of God, I know that I do not subscribe to people putting men of God on pedestals, as if they are gods, I also know that that position that you hold helps you to restrain. So even though you cannot be seen the same way as a mad person who gets upset, or someone who doesn't know Christ who gets upset. There should be a difference between you, the man of God, when you get upset, because even the scripture says, be angry, but do not sin. Be angry, but do not sin. So if you as a man of God gets upset, and somebody who is a pagan gets upset, we should be able to differentiate the way you show up in that anger to separate yourselves, right? So for me, I would have sending them to Cyprus, I think, was too much. Would gradually turn out to be a burden, especially if you're not a very large church that you have resources from all over. I think it was too much. I think they could have schooled here. You wanted to achieve something, quality education for these people, right? Because you had pity on them. They could have schooled here. They could have gone to even if it's not a private, even if it's a private university or even a public university, you could have put them here where you know that whether I close my eyes or not, there will be something definitely that will take care of them, so that we don't get to a point where we're stranded. Even parents who have their own children get stranded abroad. After a while, they realize that the money is not coming as it should, and then the child is crying out. The mother is saying, there's nothing I can do about it. So I believe it was done in a hurry. Right. If it was thought through, I want these people to have quality education. They can actually access it here in Nigeria. I just make sure that when they're done, I set them up, or they get into a trade that they want within what I can control, because anything can happen. But now that it's happened and the children went to social media, I want to see it from the perspective of the children. They may not really have people who would call the man of God to speak to him if they feel. So it could be miscommunication. If they feel that this man is gradually not taking our calls anymore or not replying to our messages, maybe he wants to abandon us, and then that panic comes in. How's the best way we can get that attention? We go on social media. Young people, even adults, go on social media. They duped me online, and I went on social media to complain because I needed to get attention. So if they now went on social media and you came out as a man of God, you're upset, you're pained. We see the pain as Nigerians. You now speak that this and this and this is what I'm going through right now. I may need help to be able to support these people, and not get so upset that you curse them. You may have, been different.
Let me come to you, Mariam, because there's an angle that I'd like to take this, and I'm trying to find the best way to look at it. But let me hear your initial thoughts on this.
So what came to mind for me when I heard this story is that sometimes our good intentions are not enough. There's something that says that, we're so caught up in our success, wanting to succeed, that some of the integral parts that need to make this happen, we do not pay attention to it. And so in the end, our good intention or the success becomes a failure. So this is, for me, I feel the pastor saw a situation and he wanted to help, and he overpromised. And sometimes in the heat of, emotions, we tend to do that. I'm going to change your story. The people that have laughed at you today, they will not laugh at you anymore. So I understand that rush of emotion that I'm going to do it. Then the reality of the day-to-day of carrying out that thing sets in. And you realize that not because you don't want to do it anymore, but you can't afford to do it. And that is where the issue for me would have been about communication. This is why I feel the man should have called them and said, I've looked at this and I see that I cannot keep on paying your fees or your daily living. You may need to get another job to, help me in some way. Right. The money that we got, we thought it would be coming, but now things have changed. We discuss it with our children as well. Parents have taken their children out of schools abroad and brought them back home because circumstances change. Right. And if that kind of conversation was had, and the children still went ahead to be rude or to put it out on social media, then I know that, then I'll put the whole blame on the children. But from giving what I've seen, at least what we've seen so far, it seems that there was a lack of communication. It seemed like he didn't tell them outright, we're not doing this anymore, at least from what I saw. If there's any other information.
According to Tokwe,
he said he
don't have money.
Yes, I don't have money anymore.
There's no money in Nigeria.
Yes.
I'm broke.
I'm broke. And the reason why they are there is because of you. I'm broke, so I'm going to send money back to you. You're going to come home, and we'll continue this education in Nigeria. The conversation seems to be, I'm broke. Hold on for a bit. I'm broke. We're trying to sort it out. Yeah, so it needs to be said. Unless he said, I am broke, we can't do this anymore in Cyprus. Let's come back to Nigeria, we'll put you in good universities. And if they say, no, we are not leaving Cyprus, then he has done his part and then he's gone. No. Now, the part of the good intention that can turn bad is when he saw the boys dancing, and how they were treated, he was more concerned about, for me, maybe making the point of showing that those people did the wrong thing. Because for me, those boys, when they were dancing, I thought they were fired for a purpose. The people that fired them, that employed them first and fired them because they were not doing what they were meant to do, how they were meant to do it. There was a lesson they were meant to learn.
Character flaw.
Good. There was a lesson they were meant to learn from that. But we took them, put them in another situation where they took that same character flaw, and now it is showing in the way that they are responding to the pastor. If he had taken them and empowered them in teaching them, see, as security guards, you're not meant to dance. You're meant to stand, make sure that the people that are coming in are people that are meant to be there. Nobody's carrying a weapon. That is you're supposed to instill confidence in the people that are coming in and going out. Not entertain. So now you have taken these people with their flaw. You've taken them into another situation, and they're going to use the same attitude to handle it. So that is where the problem is. So good intention did not.
So that's another angle that I thought was really quite powerful. Now, also, we'll come to the entitlement part because I was only going to say that I was trying very hard to see how to couch this sentence so I don't say it in the wrong way. But you see, there's some people that maybe are not even mature enough for certain gifts. Yeah. If you remember Risha Guno, what's her name, from T.Y. Bello's Jumoke?
Yes.
Jumoke was a bread seller, right? That T.Y. Bello, and we tried to transfer. You make somebody who wasn't, her mind, spirit, and body wasn't ready for that promotion. You just carried her, put her apartment, gave her this. She and her husband went apart. The whole thing just broke into pieces, scattered.
She didn't have capacity.
So sometimes you want to bless, but who are you blessing? Who are you giving back to? Are you sure? So that's part of the unethical behavior you talked about earlier. So it's not about just blessing you. It's about, are you ready and prepared for that person? Yeah, for that kind of blessing that's coming. Let me come to the part of what you said earlier, which is entitlement. But let me go on a quick.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.